Hey everybody, Red and Black Barbecue Shack back. We are doing a brisket. It's still kind of frozen in the center. So what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to cut the big chunk of fat off there. Even out the fat cap on here, which isn't too bad. Probably just shave some off in this area right here. Season it and let it sit overnight. It'll finish thawing out. And then we'll get it on the smoker in the morning. So should cut the majority of the fat out the back side there. Over here, come to the point. And cut that fat out of it, even it up. You can save this and render it down. And right about the time that we cover this, you can have that rendered fat and drizzle it over top, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use butter on it. I think that is about all the fat I'm going to take off the top of this. So this is actually pretty thin through here. Might come through. Take a little bit off of there yet. You don't want to take a lot of the fat off. You do want to leave a little bit on there. What's there will help make the meat tender as it cooks. It'll distribute through the meat. But that right there is trimmed, ready to get seasoned. Did that stop? All right, got this dried off. Gonna use a truffle extra virgin olive oil as a binder. You're just gonna lightly drizzle out on top of this. Gonna rub it in on both sides. So you got a good coating on there. Don't forget to get your edges. Flip it over. This is more on the back side here. Getting the edges all the way around once again. And what we're going to be using is this Thundering Longhorn beef rub. It's got black pepper, salt, garlic, oregano, some espresso in there. Use this on a few different meats. It's not an overpowering rub, so you can use quite a bit of it. Get that nice coat on there. Got some parsley flakes. And try to dust it lightly with some onion powder. Once you got that on there, just rub all of that in, get the sides. Got that side coated, flip it, do the same thing again. Got both sides seasoned up. Remember the parsley, a little bit of onion powder, the Thundering Longhorn, and some olive oil as a binder. Ready to get this thrown in the fridge. And the next time you see it, it'll be sitting on the smoker at about 225 degrees. Okay, it's the next morning. Just threw the brisket on. Had the grill set at 225. Looking at 7:13 on Sunday. I'm gonna top this off with some hickory pellets. I still do have almost a full box down here full of them, so we should be good for a couple hours. We'll get you an hourly update. Keep an eye on the internal temp on this, and we'll be right back to it. 1 hour in, just loaded the hopper back up. Just using a hickory blend. Internal temp right now on the point is 132. Peek at it here real quick. It's smelling delicious. We'll be back in about another hour. Take a look at it, check on it. Check our internal temp. We're looking for an internal temp about 160, and this is going to get pulled off. And I'm going to wrap it up. And it changed my mind. I am going to use the fat that I took off of this. I went ahead and rendered that down last night. The rendered fat I'm going to coat the top of this brisket with, and then wrap it up and throw it back on until we hit the optimal internal temp. Coming up on about 2 hours, and we're sitting almost right where we want to be when we pull this to wrap it, to put it on to cook the remainder of the brisket here. It's looking and smelling delicious. I'm gonna pull it at a 165 temp, put it in the thickest part of the brisket, which is the point. I did pull it out and rearrange it just to get a little bit better idea where we're sitting on temp here. So I'd say the next 20-25 minutes I'll be pulling this to wrap it, to throw it back on to cook that remainder. And we're going to bring it up, I want to see probably close to 208, 210 before this gets pulled and rests. Get ready to wrap. I'm going to lay down aluminum foil on here. Internal temp on this has been holding pretty steady at about 160, 163. Currently it's at 163. Started this cook a little after 7 this morning. It's currently 10:27. Got pulled off and laid on this aluminum foil here. Got this, I think it's for pizza. Just a big Blackstone spatula. It was actually on sale. I think normally it's 30 bucks. I bought it for 7, so that was a no-brainer when I grabbed that. So got this laid out here. Like I said before, I did render down the fat that I trimmed off of this. Cooked it up for several hours on the stove stove in the house, and you can see it's just gelatinous. Now I would either use the render down fat, but if you don't like that idea, you can always just use a butter. I like to use like a sweet cream butter, something in a big block, because I'll just shave it off the block onto the top of this. You can see it's already melting on top of this. You kind of want to work fairly quick. It will just sit in this fat once you wrap it up. That one there looks good. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go ahead and dust it with some of that Thundering Longhorn seasoning that I started out with. There's that once again. It's what it looks like. It's a Fire and Smoke Society rub. And I like to be pretty heavy with my rubs, as long as there's not a lot of salt in them. And then we're just gonna go ahead and wrap this up, get it back on the grill here. And we're gonna look for probably an internal temp about 210 degrees. And you'll see that as soon as we get back. All wrapped up. Probe's in the thickest part of the meat here in the point. It's coming back up to temperature. Grill's coming back up to temperature. We're gonna cook this up until we see an internal temperature. Like I said, at 210 degrees is about where I want to pull it off and let it rest for about an hour and a half. Got an internal temp at 206. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on here for a little bit longer. I want that temperature to stabilize. It's bouncing between 206 and 208. I want to try to get it to 210. That way I know it's pretty even temp throughout. We'll probably be pulling this thing in maybe the next half hour to rest. We'll let it rest for about an hour. Pull it out and you'll get a slicing video, or at least the end of this video will be me slicing into it. Got the brisket up to 208, 210, keeps bouncing between there. I'm okay with going ahead and pulling this. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this, throw it on our tray, and take it in the house and put it in the microwave to rest. It's going to rest in the microwave for roughly an hour, 45 minutes to an hour probably. I'm going to make some sides as well. I'm not going to film any of that, but when we get done, we'll be slicing into this. Okay, got the brisket in the house, rested for an hour. I'll go ahead and get this pulled off the tray. The juices are running out of the bottom of it, and they're pretty warm. Let's see if I can drain out the juice of this and pull this over here. Alright, so on a brisket, the full thing, there's two sections of it, the point and the flat. You'll cut across the grain on the flat. That'd be this way here. You can see all the juices have redistributed through it, and that's why you let it rest. It lets it cool down. Probably could have let it cool a little bit longer, but what I'm seeing here is a real juicy brisket. Good smoke line in it. Get this plated up with some mashed potatoes. Have some dinner.